Hello, pioneers. Welcome back to Satisfactory 1.0. It's fantastic, Mr. Ghost, your presenter of this awesome game. Okay, well, I has a portal. And I decided, well, let's just hook it up. And because I'm going back and forth to power, and then coming back here to chill. And you'll see that the portal is, where I'm going to the rocket fuel build over there. And it's only 2 a minute. So not too bad. And this sucker here is producing, now it says I had some summer sloops in here. So it's, I think, 20 now. Normally it's 10 because I have the sloop in here, the sloops. Speaking of which, I did go out searching for sloops. But I've got a lot tied up in some these various machines here. Like this one has 8. We have 8 here. And I don't have any in here, I don't think. No. Okay, so let's talk about the next project. Well, the next phase of this game. Tier 9 is pretty crazy. I got to admit, I'm a little taken aback here. And so, not to say I'm up to the challenge, though. Oh, you know what? I think I pulled the machine out of here. I think I did. Yeah, accidentally. So we're looking at... Oh, my God. I got all these things in my inventory here. So we're going to be working towards this crazy stuff. And, I like to build little pieces and then get the space elevator done. Get to the next phase. Now we're there, right? We've got everything unlocked. 1,200 speed belt per minute, blah, 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 all that. And that's what I want. Trains and all that good stuff. And now we got a teleporter, which is going to help us even more. So I pushed to do all that, but they're very smart and made Tier 9. Basically, yeah, you're going to have to build a big factory. You're not getting away from it. So this is where you'll see the Steam stats going, how many people completed Tier 9? Not many. All right, so I got one more part. It's the AI limiter. I think it's the AI limiter, and I pulled that machine up accidentally. Let me get it again. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the AI expansion server, not limiter. And it's done in a quantum encoder. And I pulled it up. Don't ask me why. All right, there's that beast. Holy cripes. There it is. AI expansion server. So what I want to do is build all these out in the desert and feed the space elevator. And that includes the nuclear pasta as well. The nuclear pasta will be synced. What I want to do is get all 4 parts under production and then sync them all into one awesome shop sync. Because I want to, make sure everything is running, and that we have no hiccups. So that's going to be a fun thing. It's a fun challenge. So we have the biochemical sculptor. 2 a minute. We need the fix-it trigon. That's going to be the SAM and all this other jazz. And assembly director system. We did that already. So yeah, I'm going to have to rebuild everything. Now I'm okay with that. I like I said, I approached this to get everything unlocked so that I can build across the whole map now. Now we have the ballistic warp drive. And we built these things before. No big deal. But, of course, I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh, God, I got all this. But, we got here slowly but surely. So hopefully now I can build it fairly quickly. The only issue is the rail connections. And then building, fairly massive scale on a lot of the parts that we're going to have to do going forward. So we've done this before. Everything behind it is going to be fun, obviously. Singularity cell. Yeah, we need that now. Some of these things I'll probably build on site where the space elevator is going to go because of the sheer volume that it's such a trickle. There's no point in training like singularity cell or the nuclear pasta. We need it here too. But the singularity cell, as you can see, is there's a lot of machines going on. We're going to need a lot of space just for the end parts here. So, like, for example, the iron plate and concrete, I would train that in and drop it off. But when it comes to the quantum stuff, we might train it in, but we're going to have some outputs where we can convert dark matter residue back into it. So we do a priority splitter, thing, smart splitter, and we prioritize what we're producing and all that, so we don't have any backups. Yeah, superposition oscillator. Never done this. Well, we did it temporarily to get through the milestones, but it's not tough to do that. So we're going to need the dark matter crystal oscillators. You know how those go. We have the ability to do the aluminium all-clad, which, as you see, I've got a good system now, so it's just plop and drop. Well, we got to build it, but I've got it all hammered out, all the silly stuff hammered out. And then dark matter crystals, like I said, it's not too difficult to do. We just need the residue. So it's just a matter of, well, what do you want to do with what? Oh, and then these will be slooped up, of course, the outputs. And then we've got the magnetic field generator, which we did already. Oh, never done this before on a scale like this. Supercomputers. Now, they're not that tough. With the alternate, it's actually pretty simple. But the radio control units, the RCUs, yeah, those are a pain. There's the more trigon stuff. And then the time crystals. So a lot of crazy stuff. More superposition oscillators. And then this stuff is pretty easy. Just drop these machines down, pipe it up, and you're done. So this would be something locally done. And you want to talk about looking cool at night? Oh, man. I can't wait to get this. So then you see how it kicks out the dark matter residue here, which we would turn into the dark matter crystals. And we feed that back through the system. So what's going to be really tricky is setting up all the trains. That's the worst part. Belts and pipes are very flexible as to where they go. But I have an answer for that, folks. I'll show you that right now. Or, well, let's go through this really quick. So the first phase of this project, we need to get our ingots, the ingot game started up. And we're going to do the leached for the higher yield. That way, less trains in, more ingots out. I don't know if I'm going to do focused builds where I'm doing the ingots to whatever. For example, steel is going to be a big one. And then iron plate is also, going to be in there. So I could do iron ingots plus plastic. Question is, where do I build it all, So I got to think about that. I haven't gotten that far yet. I'm still in my planning phase. So we have the leached iron ingots. This produces 100 a minute. And the numbers work out very well, as you can see. 50. The sulfuric, the fluids aren't that bad, it's just pipes. But the belts are where it's kind of nice to have that even split. So we have 50 in, 100 out. 1200 belt fits really nicely for this. And with the knowledge I have of the pipes, because now I'm like, okay, I know I got the pipes now. The key is smaller chunks, shorter pipe runs. But, I don't want, tiny little networks. I'm going to push it a little bit. And I found that out with the, this plastic build down here was kind of, okay. But the turbo, or the rocket fuel one was crazy. The turbo fuel one was where you start to learn, oh yeah, pipes they do have their issues. But the main thing to realize is that they have a limitation. They don't advertise it. It's up to you to figure it out. So I think that's how they're running it. And there's, you learn. So now we have the leached deuterium ingot. This is an oddball number, 54 a minute. Well, that's, whatever, it is what it is. This one recipe here, I think, is a 66% yield. The, what is it? This is a new recipe. They introduced this recently. I don't know when. That used to be the pure, and it's a 50% yield. I think it's 2 to 1. So for every 2 ore, it's 1 deuterium. This is 9 to 6, so I think it's like 66% yield. A lot better. Of course, we want that. And then we have the leached copper ingot, which is kind of an oddball number, 45 and 110. But we'll make it work, So you just basically divide 110 into 1200 and see what you get. And then we have these two as reminders. Man, I got a lot of plastic on me. I was tearing stuff up, and I you know what? I screwed up. I accidentally clicked this button, so now I got all this junk in my inventory. Oh well. So these are just reminders that we're gonna do plastic, and plastic and rubber I view as a ingot type. So we're gonna do the recycled rubber and recycled plastic, of course. Now I'm gonna be playing around with the numbers in a little more detail. I'm gonna try to get it to balance with the fuel. If I have to build a fuel build specifically to supplement, I will, because the diluted fuel kind of throws everything off. So I'm going to be looking into that, trying to, make it work a little better. So that is where I'm at right now. So it's basically find a site, and I'm leaning towards, I could build anywhere I want. I don't know if I want to build in the grasslands area, because usually the grasslands has like a lot of crappy iron. They don't have much pure out there. I mean, it does exist. So it's just a matter of hooking up a train stop, getting on the main line. And I'll show you how I'm going to handle the power plant, the turbo fuel. Well, not the turbo fuel, the rocket fuel power plant. It was a pretty good learning experience. Okay, I think we're done here. Let's go into our transporter. Yahoo! There we go. And you'll notice I have changed some things. Yes. 2 nitrogen trains per stop, and 2 sulfur and coal trains per stop down there. So the nitrogen was having issues. I had the 2 trains to 1 stop, and the travel time and the single rail was killing me. So now I'm like, all right, screw it. We're going to redo this whole thing. So I did. It's all off right now because I have to run these trains here. I added the 2 mixers. So I had this thing running like a champ. I underestimated the fuel for a reason because I know the pipes are long. So that's what I got there. And you'll notice way over there, I've got the augmenters in. Now look at this, man. This is insane. I don't know how much is here. I think it's 14. I want to say I have 14 or 13 on here. Maybe 14. So I put the augmenters on the back. Oh, I wanted to talk about the ionized fuel. And I think it's not worth, the juice is not worth the squeeze on the ionized fuel. I hope I remember. I'll cover that in a second. Well, once we're done here. So these things are so huge that I had to skip a row here and line it up because it overlaps the whole thing there. I don't know if that's me. I think that's on center. I could shove that one over a little bit, yeah. So I thought it would be pretty cool to put the augmenter at the back end of this. And that way it looks pretty nasty, right? Now I could do the power, things. I wouldn't mind trying that as a more of a challenge. Power challenge than anything else, but I'm not too worried about it. So I'm playing around with some designs here. There's no solution for a corner. I don't know. So I did this slope thing. Looks pretty cool. I don't know if the walls don't connect to these. They don't go in angles. They only go around the square. So there's not much I can do here. So I'm like, well, I'll leave it as kind of like an eave, So I thought that was kind of fun. Okay, now, like I said, I was, oh man, I tell you, I was dreading this job. But I made it easier. And let me show you how I did it. The blueprint machine, the Mark III, is awesome. I was able to blueprint the train stop in entirety, along with a case here. And then I can place it down and nudge it. So, let me demonstrate. And here it is. Freight unload right-hand side. That's what that means. Well, it's reference to... You know what, that's actually... Well, let's see. I think I had it. Yeah, it's right or left at this... I don't know. I'm trying to work on naming. So what's great about this is, okay, I'm trying to line this up, and I'm way up in the air. All right. Am I on there? I don't know. So you can press H, and you can lock the blueprint. And this is huge, as we know. You just gotta be careful not to press any keys. And you can see I was way off. So now I can use my arrow keys to nudge it. Isn't that freaking awesome? And then I can float over here. And I go, well, you know what? That's off. Let me nudge it. And I'm on center. So I can use a center port, window port, to connect the lifts and all that. Now, the other issue here, though, is you can see that, well, you have to maybe play around with this here. You might have to curve your belts to a certain point. So on the blueprint machine, you can line it up a certain way, and then the edge of your rail is, you know, flat or flush to the seam of the concrete. That way you can do your 90s. Oh, look at that. I'm flying through it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, player there. So you can see that it's off a little. The alternative is you just do a little bit of stub in front to get it to the edge, and then you can do your 45-45 for a 90 to exit out in a circle, you know, do a 180. Or what I've done over here is it's just a 45 out, or that's a 90, sorry. 90 out, and then these all connect here at the end, and that's the output lane right there. I was considering going over, so going up 9, over and down and connecting, but this isn't really a high throughput rail line, so I'm not entirely worried about it. So you can see how, whoops, you can see how this worked pretty well. I used this foundation. I pulled it all the way over because that was my reference point as to how high to go. Worked out pretty well. I can concrete this whole thing and then be good. So I got the lifts mark 6, and then the coal is just mark 5, and it all works pretty good. So those trains are back up and online. However, this train is not, or these trains are not. So as you can see, yeah, like I said, 2 stops. I don't know if I showcased that in the last episode or not. We'll go in here and we'll turn on the self-driving. I kept the rail somewhat the same, but I did have to rip everything because it's just, you just rip it all so you don't get confused and redo it all. Got all these block signals. It is a 2-lane rail up and back because I was getting way too many problems with signaling issues. So I got a double helix going on up. I did this by hand a little bit, and I'm not done. I pulled some stuff out to expand the rail here. So it is a pretty cool, I got a little clipping there, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. If it's a little bit of rock, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to sweat it. So yeah, I had to expand out to the other side a little more, as you can see, to make room. And now I have 2 stops, and I overclocked that nitrogen thing, the extractor. It's 1800, as you can see from the sign. Rocket fuel nitro 1800. I only need 12, but you're better off overclocking because this is dedicated to the power, so just go all out. Who cares? That way it's there. And you'll notice that I have an industrial tank for both stops here. That way I could ensure... Oh, and one thing that I found too, the tanks had to be completely full. That way because it will trickle out until the tank is full. And so you have to let this all buffer up. And because, man, I tell you, it's a real pain. So right now, all the power plants are disconnected, the pipes, because I want the turbo fuel to build up. And then I think I think I had enough nitrogen in the system to keep it going. So there is turbo fuel, but you really need to turn on one at a time and let it fill up, because you don't want the nitrogen, you know, to completely get depleted, because then there's issues trying to maintain it. But since I have 2 trains and plenty of buffers on either end, the buffers help push the fluid a little bit. So I think that's kind of key there. When it starts to get down to a trickle and your source doesn't have enough, then you get a lot of problems, you know. So we'll hop out here. And there we go. So I didn't do industrial tanks here. I probably should. And this might be one thing I update. I put valves in here even too. I don't know if it's going to help. I doubt it. But so these tanks here, what are we at here? Oh, we got 400 in here. Oh, okay, good. So I think these are full when I might have, I think I had these running and then I ripped up all the pipes or something. I can't remember exactly what I did. 400, yeah. We just check the bottom one here. And that one's running. So this, I had everything running. And it bothered me that I didn't have the full banks, you know, 4 for a total of 16. I'm like, man, you know what? This is a challenge I want to meet, you know? I mean, why not? This is fun. And this is going to get us through to at least a certain point in the game. All right, we'll hook that up there because we're full. We're all buffered up. And then that sucker is going to go. There we are. So I'm hoping that I can make it to at least far enough in the game before I have to do nuclear power. It doesn't look like we need any of the nuclear power to do any endgame stuff, which I was worried about, but they are not pushing you on nuclear power. Now what happens here is each one of these is going to buffer to 50. And I think I went over this last episode. So you notice that where this thing is going to start, this one generator here is going to start cranking. It's the fuel. See how fast it's going up. Now, these are, the ones prior are going to be consuming one fuel every minute. You know, or 10.42 every minute, actually. So one every craft. So it's pulling away from the pipe, you know, each time. So what you have to do, it takes longer and longer and longer for these to finally buffer. But I guarantee you that they do. So I had, as a test, my test bed was this stop with 2 trains on it, and then doing the dual stop up above, maxing out everything. And I was even on a single rail line. And I was able to get this whole thing up and running consistently. So I know it works. I know this one works here. So there's no difference between that stop and 2 trains and this stop and 2 trains. Although this stop here is now going to be consuming a little more nitrogen. So that'll be the next test. So the trick is to let this all buffer up and get to 50 on all of the Jennies. And then go to the next one. Resist the urge to power it all up, because you're going to have flow issues and you're going to be not happy. So now we're at, let's see, we got the power boost way down to 4.5. Let's see here. This is the power here. And it's going to be up and down until the last one gets fully buffered up. So right here is the backup system. This is a smart splitter. Don't look at the belt. It's going to be crooked because the environment doesn't like me. And it's a long way to go, fairly long way to go there. So the compacted coal is now going all the way over to the turbo fuel plant, which has been now right-sized. If I can get some power here. Come on, jump. There we go. And, oh, this is going to come out. Yeah, obviously, we're going to do the time crystals, you know, wherever. So over here, I still have these trains running over here. And let's see. I got the cloth and the turbo fuel set up here, too. So these trains are running. And I needed this, obviously, this power to do what I need to do. You know, if I ran out of something, it wouldn't be good. So the plan is to, well, that plant there should operate this plant here via the compressed coal. And I guess what I want to do here, I don't know if I want to pull this belt all the way over and do a merger here, because we don't have smart mergers. That's one thing that kind of annoys me. Is we don't have smart mergers. So I don't want that compacted coal to get backed up, because I'd like to have, you know, because we have the smart splitter for overflow and whatnot, but we don't have a priority merge, which allows you to take from one build over the other, right? So in this case, I'd want this to be, I'd like to merge into here and say, all right, take this side first over these two, right? And there's really nothing in the game that you can do that with, and I don't know why they don't allow it, or why they didn't program it in. It would seem it would be very helpful for situations like this where you want to have a backup system. But as it stands right now, this whole system here will allow for the consumption of the compacted coal. So there we go. All right, now let's go down this way. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna copy that train there, and let's go look at the final thing that I got here. You'll notice I have a Dunes Pax. Save, turn on self-drive. So this is my preparation here to get into the Dune Desert. Ah, crash. Oh, that animal was not happy. It's like, you jerk, you hit me. Oh, this rail is fixed, by the way. It's not in the water anymore, so got my little jigs. Now, I noticed that the trains kind of stop. See how it had that stop there? I'm like, well, why is it stopping me? There's no trains coming. So I noticed that some of these, the rail signals kind of are a little bit too touchy or whatever. So all this rail has been redone. And I really like it, but I still have more work to do standardizing blueprints. You know, I don't have any. And from what I understand, you cannot, well, there might be some website you can get them to upload them to a cloud or something like that, because you can't use them from one playthrough to another right now, from what I understand. So that was fun to do, going through that, shooting through there. And now we're going through this. Oh, a bean, two. Oh, I thought there was two beans, one bean. And I have my slope up. Going up is easier than down, and I'm going to have a jig for that, for going downward. And here we are. We are in the Dunes Desert. And I have a radar tower. So you can see all... Now, what's really crazy about this area, and I kind of want to... I don't know, it's kind of tough, because if I build here... Look at this. We've got all this iron and limestone. Over here, sulfur and coal over here. I forgot about that sulfur one. So my plan is to maybe drive this rail down along this way and gain access to the swamp here. There's more resources down in the swamp as well. Over here, in this area, the grasslands, I think, let's see, there's a little tiny lake. I think it's right here. I want to say, or, let's see, I'm trying to think of, oh, here it is right here. This little tiny lake right here. This is the starting area, the easy starting area, they say. It's flat, you know, not many crazy creatures and stuff. And this area is really good for building a smelting area. There's probably some sulfur nearby, and if it's not, I will train it in. I could do sulfuric acid on site for this area, so that would be a consideration. There is plenty of opportunities to run rail through here. Oh, somebody's not happy with me. Okay. So this area, because it's so open, I'd love to build the space elevator here and feed it. So we could start with unloading all throughout here, you know, so I'll build up to a certain point and I'll do all the unloading. So there we go. That's the plan for Tier 9. Wow, I love that. Those noises. It's so creepy. So now what I'm going to do is edit the timetable. I'll delete this. And then base nitrogen dump off. I just use that. And it'll start up and go. Now I notice that the trains are now regulating speed, as you can see. But see how it's stopping here. Oh, I had all kinds of problems with this intersection. I had to rip up all the rail and redo it. You got to be careful in what order you're connecting your rail. I notice it is pretty finicky. So the blueprint that I have for that T Oh, and there, see, that's where we're going next, right up through there. Haha. So yeah, the blueprint that I have for the T, it's only a guide. You have to make you have to put the stubs in. Oh, I gotta fix that over there. I forgot about that. The train stop is flipped based on the rail now because I went from single to double rail. So here we go. We're stopping for this. I don't know why. It's green. Go. So yeah. Anyway, the T that I have, I had to put a straight rail in there as a reminder because I forgot to put it in. So I'm over there at that one intersection fooling around with it, and all the signals are going haywire, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? And I think it's because you have to connect it from one point to another, or else the signal, and if you have signals on there, it all gets messed up. And then you got those little arrow signs, and those get goofed up. So it is kind of tricky and tedious, but once you get the system down, you know, it all goes pretty good. So I love this. You can load a blueprint and update it. So let's say, for example, here. Okay, so I notice I call this partial rail T here. And I love that it, you know, it just pops it into existence, and then we get these little things. So I added this additional piece right here. These are going to flash, obviously, because there's no rail. So this is a reminder for me to connect that. And you see, I can't do it. So you need to plop this down, and then when it's on the ground, you have to make a little stub here for both of the pieces, and you have to go on both sides here. And then you connect this to there, you know, to the end, and same thing for here. And then you have to take these, and connect, you know. Is that one's, whoops, what's going on here? Oh, that one, how'd that get disconnected? I wonder if, oh, you know what? I wonder if it's clearing the wire. I think it is. Yeah, because this is a part of the blueprint space. That's kind of funny. So anyway, so we already got that one covered. So this one will want to go that way. You know, so you're going down this way from here. So we need the stub there to connect to go to there. And likewise, this one will go, let's see, that one goes here. And then this one goes also over here, I think. Yeah, something like that. And then you got to put your signals in. So unfortunately, you can't signal the whole thing, but I've got the block signal there and the path signal here, just so it's there. Now, I think that probably be a good idea to remove the signals so they don't get confused as you're hooking this up. So that's pretty cool. Love this feature where you can go up and you can clear it, and it can't escape. You have to hit in the box, and then or anywhere. I don't know. They got to fix that. And there's all your items. How did I get? Oh, the computers are from the rail signals. So we'll take all of those, and then oh, and so we'll load the train one. Well, I don't want to load it, but because then I'm gonna get all this crap in my inventory. So if I wanted to modify this, I load it up, and let's see, get oh, here, up there. That's weird. You can't escape out of that. So it'll put the blueprint name in there, and all you got to do is save it right here. It keeps the name. It says you want to overwrite, and you go yes. So you don't have to do all this renaming and all this crap and create. So they did a really good job on some of the stuff here. I would like to have. I mean, I know this sounds. I'm not trying to be petty or thanks, but no thanks. You know, no, that's not it. Based on the rail, the size of the rail in this game, and the amount of space you need to make a connection, I would like to have it 2 more on either side. But like I know it's 48 by 48 by 48 or whatever. Make it 2 more meters. I'm glad that we have this, but it falls short for rail. That's the only complaint I have. So, whatever. Oh, it did leave the wire in. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and then I can make a full-blown T signal, or T junction, and signal it. That way it speeds up that process, because I don't want to have to constantly intervene. I don't know what analogy would it be, like, oh, thanks for the sandwich, but you didn't put any meat on it. Thanks for the bread sandwich. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, we have it, and you could do some pretty good stuff with it, but it does fall short with what I want to do in endgame. So maybe a tier 4 would be good, you know, and move the tier 1 down a little bit and put the tier 4 in the tier 9 unlock area. So I don't know, just a suggestion since I'm trying to use this right now. So anyway, that's it. I don't want to do any building. I'm so tired. I'm going to go turn my power on one at a time. Wish me luck with that. We need to do that in order to get, you know, at least further along here. And hope, I mean, now that I got that system figured out, well, the problem is all the trains. God, you know, because if I wanted to do another power plant, well, I might as well be doing nuclear power, which is a massive undertaking. Yeah, it's no joke, let me tell you. All right, folks. Well, this was just a discussion and planning for the future episode here. Hope you enjoyed it. I want to, you know, keep along the lines of, you know, sharing my knowledge. That's the point of this series here. I played a lot of this game, but I'm off and on, so I am relearning it. But I do know, you know, the building game concepts here. So for all the new players out there coming in and jumping in this game, I hope to help those folks. That's the whole point of what I'm doing here. I want to help and showcase, and you know, we can learn together. That's the fun part too. Look at that. It's all running. To be expected though. All right, wish me luck. I've got 16 of these things to do. It's for the greater good though. We got to save humanity. Thanks for watching. Look at that. And I'll see you in the next one. We're almost done. Peace out.